All right, well, welcome everyone. I'm Colleen Samuels, Interim Executive Director for DRMAC, and I want to start off by giving you all a warm welcome to the DRMAC annual meeting. It's so hard to believe that it's already December, but here we are, and I am so incredibly proud of our team and everything that we have accomplished in 2022. We're so excited to highlight those accomplishments with all of you today. But before we get into that, we're going to start with some housekeeping items, do some introductions, play a game of bingo, and close out the meeting with some organizational updates from all of you.
Thanks, Colleen. I'm sure that many of you already know how to use Zoom by now, but I'm just going to go over a few Zoom functions to make sure that we are all able to participate. So to mute and unmute, you can click on that microphone icon in the bottom left-hand corner of your Zoom window. And then just to the right of that, you will find the camera button, which allows you to turn your camera off and on. If you would like to access the chat, you can click the speech bubble icon located in the bottom middle of your Zoom window. And lastly, if you'd like to access the raise your hand function, you can find that in the bottom right-hand corner by clicking on that little smiley face icon. We're going to have all attendees muted unless called upon during this meeting. So now please go ahead and type your name and organization into the chat if you haven't done so already. This just helps us keep track of everybody who's here today. As always, you can use the chat as needed for questions or comments, and you can use the raise your hand function to be called on. If you're able to, we ask that you please leave your camera on as it helps with communication. So now we're going to just move on to some quick introductions. So when you're called upon, please tell us your name and organization and what your favorite winter activity is. Please hold off on giving any updates that you might have for now. You will have some time to give those updates towards the end of the meeting. So I will start with Andrea.
Say what? I'm the Chair of Transportation Solutions, Arapahoe County, the county LCC.
What is your favorite winter activity, Andrea?
And my favorite winter activity is being all wrapped up in a blanket and reading.
I love that. Thanks, Andrea. All right, now we will move on to Bob Epstein.
Thank you, Lauren. Good afternoon, and the holiday season. I'm Bob Epstein. I'm Vice Chair of DRMAC and member of the Colorado Center for Aging. Also, Legislative Chair for the Arapahoe County Council on Aging, and a few other things. My favorite winter activity, have a hot toddy and watching the snow fall down. Got it?
I love it.
Thanks, Bob.
Welcome.
All right, now we'll move on to Brian.
Hello, I'm Brian with the company here in Parker called To the Rescue. I'm the transportation manager and a whole bunch of other things that I do here. My favorite activity probably would be staying warm and watching Hallmark shows with my wife.
Oh.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks for being here. All right, now I will move on to Tina. Tina Whitby.
Hi, I'm from the Castle Rock Senior Activity Center with Transportation Manager. And wintertime, sure makes transportation kind of a little difficult. So my favorite thing is staying at home, reading a book, and getting the fire going with the grandkids. Thank you.
I love a good fire in the winter. Thanks, Tina. Okay, Melanie Ward.
Hello, I am Melanie Ward with the City of Centennial, and I'll throw out snowboarding.
Yes, I was just saying that I'm wanting some more snow up in the mountains. Thanks, Melanie. All right, I will move on to Joseph Parks.
Hi, everyone. Joseph Parks, CASTA Program Director. Favorite thing about the holiday season and the season in general is building fires in the fireplace.
Thanks, Joseph. Okay, I will move on to Jamie Lewis.
Jamie Lewis, Colorado Cross Disability Coalition. I'm their transit advisor. I apologize not for having my video on. I'm a little under the weather today. But my favorite thing to do is ride an RTD bus at night and see everybody's decorations on their houses and trees and et cetera, et cetera.
Thanks for being here, Jamie, even though you're feeling a little under the weather. Okay, next we have John Marcantonio. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yeah, that was great. Hi, I'm John Marcantonio with CDOT, the Office of Innovative Mobility, working on mobility services. And my favorite winter activity is backcountry skiing.
Awesome. Thanks, John. All right, next we have Jacob Rieger.
Rieger, yeah, let me make this work here. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Jacob Rieger. I'm the Multimodal Transportation Planning Manager at the Denver Regional Council of Governments. I'm also a Dr. Mac board member. Favorite winter activities, probably staying inside out of the cold, except for those warm winter days when you actually can go for a long walk, which is really nice. So.
Awesome. Thanks, Jacob. Okay, next we have Angel Bond.
Good afternoon. I'm Angel Bond. I'm the Boulder County Mobility for All Program Manager, and I also facilitate our Mobility and Access Coalition. I think my favorite winter activity is actually taking the FF1 to Union Station and looking at all the lights. And then also they have the ice skating rink off of 16th Street. So we do that every year with the kiddos. So yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Angel. Okay, next we have, let's do Rocio Torres Mora.
Hi, friends. So I'm Rocio, she, her. I am with the American Cancer Society. And I think my favorite thing about the winter season is all the snacks, honestly. People get very crafty with their baking, and I take advantage of it all. So I love it. If you're trying something with cardamom, send it my way. I'm just in Salt Lake City. I am happy to test it out for you before you poison your family, you know? Happy to do that, friends.
I'm sure Latoya has some recipes she can send your way because she's our creative baker over here. Thanks, Rocio. Okay, next we have Olga Garcia.
Yes, hi everybody. I'm Olga Garcia, and I'm driving to my next appointment. Sorry about that. I work for the Denver City and County, the Office on Aging, and I just finished with my monthly nutrition discussion as part of Fresh Conversations that we facilitate for the City and County of Denver, and it's part of the program that was introduced to us in 2020 by Colorado Human Services. So because of that, I've become more confident in my kitchen. So what I love to do is follow really good recipes that are healthy and nutritious and flavorful. And I learn every day what family favorite recipes are out there. And I try to copy them or impart some shortcuts and tips, because I think if we all practice more cooking in our own kitchens instead of eating out all the time, I think we're just going to naturally be more healthy. So that's what I love to do, especially in the winter time. Thanks.
Thanks, Olga. All right, next we have Dan Rain.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dan Rain. I'm the mobility manager for the city of Lone Tree, and I administer our Link on Demand free transit program. My favorite thing to do in the winter, I guess it was one of my favorite things I used to do. I used to like to go places and do things. Remember that? Wasn't that great? It was such a good time. I can't wait to do that again someday. So maybe I'll see you out there. Thank you.
The old days.
Thanks, Dan. Okay, next we have Joan LaBelle.
Hi, everyone. I am the ADA coordinator for the City and County of Denver within the Division of Disability Rights. I'm new there, so I've been wanting to see what you all do and excited to listen in on this meeting. But probably my favorite thing to do besides warm GMEs is when we have snow, playing in the snow with my dog, because he just loves the snow and comes in completely covered.
I love playing in the snow too. Thanks for being here. Okay, next we have Jessica Vienna Sanchez.
Yeah, hi, hello. Good afternoon, everybody. I did join a little bit late, so I don't know if anybody, Lauren, could you repeat the question to me, please?
Yeah, no worries. We're just stating our names, organization, and then your favorite winter activity.
Okay, so my name is Jessica Vienna Sanchez. I work with Angel Bond at Mobility for All. My title is Bilingual Mobility Planner, and I joined the team about 5 months ago, so I'm relatively new, but very excited to be here. Excited too, because I know some of you in person, so that's great, like the old times. Happy to see you, Diana and Stephanie. And what I like to do in the winter, I like to be, to have activities to do in the afternoon because it gets dark so early. I'm not used to that. So at 4:30, I make an effort to watch the sunset somewhere. Luckily, like I live in a place where that's visible, so I'm very lucky. And then just go somewhere because otherwise the afternoon just feels like a endless night, and I don't like that. So it's a mental struggle that I have every winter. But I think being active or planning activities outside helps, outside of my apartment, not outside in the cold. Thank you.
Thanks for being here, Jessica. All right, it looks like Allison Cutting just joined. Allison, we're just stating our name, organization, and then our favorite winter activity.
Yeah, I called in and I just got in, so I was able to turn on my video. But so I am Allison Cutting, and I am a grants administrator for older adult and transportation services in Douglas County. And my favorite winter activity is my favorite year-round activity, which is riding my horse. So luckily we have an indoor arena, so I can ride her year-round. Other than that, skiing.
Yes.
But I much prefer the summer.
I used to ride horses, so I understand the indoor arena during the
Yeah,
winter.
definitely need the indoor.
Well, thanks for being here, Allison. Okay, and I think that the last person is a call-in number. If you want to unmute yourself and state your name and organization and your favorite winter activity. Looks like it's 303-519.
Yes, hi, this is Virginia. I'm with Cultivate. Sorry, I couldn't get my Zoom to work. My favorite activity is the lights. I love driving around and seeing all the lights.
Awesome. Thanks for being here, Virginia.
Thank you.
And it looks like Charles McCarthy just joined. Charles, do you want to unmute yourself and tell us your organization and your favorite winter activity?
Yeah. Hey, so my name is Charles McCarthy. I'm the mobility manager for Northwest Colorado Council of Governments. And I think my favorite winter activity would be probably snowboarding. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
All right. I think I got through everyone. Latoya, did I miss anybody?
No, not at all. Good job.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for those introductions. Now that everybody has gotten a chance to say hello, I'm going to pass the floor over to Stephanie.
All right, thanks, Lauren. So we're going to change gears a little bit and begin our 12 months of DRMAC portion of the meeting. We've accomplished so much throughout the past year, and we wanted to highlight some of those accomplishments with you all. And then in between the 12 days of DRMAC, we'll be sharing a few questions and answers that we asked all of the staff at DRMAC to help you get to know us a little bit better. So in January, in the first month of 2022, DRMAC gained 2 new members on the Getting There Travel Training programs. That was Lauren, who is the backup trainer, and then myself, who is the virtual trainer. So it was super fun getting to shift over to that program and learn some more and to do the trainings. And then in the second month of 2022 in February, DRMAC provided the most trainings during this month. So we did 19 classes with 87 participants, which I think is very impressive. A lot of people in February. And then I changed roles to the program manager of special projects. So got to work on some different things there, and that's continued throughout the year. So. And then some get to know me kind of questions here. So my favorite project that we worked on this year, that I worked on at DRMAC, was the expansion of our Getting There app. So some of you might know this, some of you might have seen me do a demo of this app, but it was really exciting for me because I got to take my passion for public health and kind of incorporate it into our Getting There app and go beyond just providing transportation resources. So now we have housing assistance and food assistance resources in there as well. And we're continuing and planning on expanding that as well. So keep an eye out for that. My favorite thing about DRMAC, I mean, there's just so much, it's so hard to choose, but I would say the top one for me is just how collaborative and supportive our team is. We're a very small group, but everything we do is super impressive and the work is always really amazing and inspiring. So I just am super grateful for that. In 2023, I am looking forward to getting to put our newly designed, revamped Getting There travel training program into the community. I've been working on expanding and kind of revamping that program. So we'll be including some more information that wasn't previously in our travel training program. So that'll be a cool thing to keep an eye out for. And then my favorite winter activity is ice skating. So I grew up as a figure skater and I don't really compete anymore, but I love getting a chance to either skate outside or teaching my friends who don't know how to skate. It's always a fun time. So that's me. And then I'm the program manager of special projects as well. I mentioned that in the previous slide, but that's my role here. And then in the third month of 2022 in March, the Getting There travel training team members did their first training via Zoom. So that was when we switched over or added new members to the role. And then we did some internal training, some mock trainings, and then we finally did our first training for community members. And then Lauren Kurtz was promoted to the marketing and outreach coordinator. So another role that was shifted around. She's doing a great job. And now in April, so in the fourth month, the Getting There travel training team decided that we wanted to offer in-person trainings as well as virtual training. So we began advertising and promoting that and received enormous response for that, spoiler alert. And then we also created a social media plan and began posting to platforms to really expand the reach. And then Lauren and myself, we both became the new hosts of the monthly meeting. So we got to kind of coordinate and build partnerships with a bunch of different members in our community. So thank you to all who have come to our meetings over the past year. We really appreciate it. And a special thank you to everyone here today. So Latoya is going to talk a little bit about herself now, and I'm going to pass it on to her.
Thank you, Stephanie. So my name is Latoya Pranti. For those who don't know me, I was previously the program manager for the Getting There travel training program. I am now the program manager and a volunteer recruiter. So I'm super excited about that, to be able to get my hands into something a little new. For my favorite project that I got to work on this year, as most of you know it was the Getting Their Travel Training program. It definitely brought me a lot of joy to be able to see the growth and how it really helped people in general. I really seen the independence that it started giving people. Even the feedback that I got was amazing. Definitely heart and hands kind of stories. So I know that it is difficult to have to give up the keys and things like that. So definitely making sure that they have the tools to be able to get transportation on their own is super important. Now, my favorite thing about DRMAC, similar to Stephanie, is definitely the team itself. I don't dread coming to work at all. I enjoy it. It's actually an escape from the world or from my little cubicle in here. I really feel like we have adapted, changed, learned so much with this community in different ways. This organization, I definitely would say, since I've been here the longest, I've seen the most growth this year than out of the other 3 years that I was here previously. So I'm definitely excited about that. What I'm looking forward to in 2023 is the ability to branch out in other areas such as housing and food. DRMAC has never really done that. So for Stephanie to really be able to add that into our DRMAC app, that is exciting. And I'm also looking forward to, like I said earlier, build and enhance our volunteer team. So that's what I'm really excited for next year. And what my favorite activity for the winter would definitely be tubing. I like to sled down the hills, but I do not like to ski or snowboard, so that's out of the question. But just being around people in general and having a gathering, that's what I really enjoy. Thank you. And then we switch slides. In the 5th month of 2022, GTT, or the Getting Their Travel Training, started booking out for the in-person sessions. Our outreach team attended an older adult resource fair this month. And then we also did some additions and revisions for the Printing Getting There guide. And that began in May. So if you have the new guides, that's what was the editing was done in May. Please, next slide. All right, and in the 6th month of 2022, the Getting Their Travel Training began the in-person sessions, and they had their very first graduation trip post-pandemic. And let me just tell you, that was very interesting. You had a lot of people, a little phobia, not really sure. Union Station was a big issue at that time. So just really kind of breaking down those barriers and just getting them out of their comfort zone really helped. That idea of what Union Station really looked like or what kind of amount was being worked down there. So that was exciting to see happen. DRMAC was officially live on Instagram this month. That was really exciting, being that we had a new social media thing going. Instagram was super exciting. And then they began the DRMAC website refresh. So if you have not been on our website, please go on there. Since June, we've definitely made some changes and it really looks a lot nicer, I think. And then during this month, we had an amazing lady, Tracy Groves, who was hired as our information assistant line. She did a wonderful job and we really appreciate all the help that she gave us. Next slide, please. And off to you, Lauren.
Thank you, LaToya. Hello, everybody again. My name is Lauren Kurtz, and I am the Marketing and Outreach Coordinator at DRMAC. I would say that my favorite project that I got the pleasure of working on this year was creating the social media plan schedule and just seeing it grow. Diana and I were at an outreach event, and someone said that they didn't even know that their bus to work day was happening that given day, and that they had seen it on our Facebook. So just makes me happy to be able to expand our reach on social media. I think this is a common trend about what my favorite thing is about DRMAC, but our team is just so great and close knit. There's just 5 of us, but we are so mighty and so great about, leaning on each other for support when we need it, and just building ideas and bouncing them off each other. So yeah, the team can't say enough great things. In 2023, I am looking forward to continuing to expand our reach to serve different populations of people through our outreach efforts. I know Diana and I are in the process of planning for 2023 and what our outreach is going to look like, but I'm just really excited to get to serve more populations of people. And I love the winter. So I have a lot of favorite activities. I love sitting by the fire. Also, when it's snowing, it's like my favorite thing, just watching the snowfall. We don't have a fireplace in our apartment, but we'll put the YouTube fireplace on and just pretend like we have one. But I love skiing, and just spending a weekend in the mountains is easily probably my favorite winter activity. All right, and in the 7th month of 2022, in July, Diana Castro was promoted to Operations and Outreach Coordinator. I've really enjoyed getting to kind of collab with her and watch our outreach efforts grow. And we also updated the Getting There travel guide, and it has a new vibe, and it looks great. In the 8th month of 2022, in August, we created a plan for the Getting There travel training rebuild and revamp that Stephanie and our team have been working on. Stephanie conducted app outreach to expand our resource network. And if you haven't checked out the app, it's awesome to see some more resources in there. And then Diana and I attended 2 bus to workday events, and it was very successful. And I love doing outreach events with Diana. It's one of my favorite things about my job. All right, over to you, Colleen.
Okay, so it's me again. So hi, I'm Colleen, like I said, the interim executive director for DRMAC. And I think my favorite project was kind of it's combined project, but just having a thought and then just turning it over to these ladies and watching them just execute it beyond my expectations. Little bit of pushback, not always. They always, but we communicate well as a team. So if it absolutely wasn't going to work, they're not shy about saying that is absolutely not going to work, Colleen. But the fact that they trusted me and they trusted my vision and they just took it and they ran and they did more with all of these different thought processes than I even imagined. That's my favorite thing. And my favorite project, my favorite thing about DRMAC, I guess there is a common theme here, is working with these women. They are amazing. And I'm not just saying that. I think probably this is one of the most qualified and the best teams I've ever managed. And they know that, but now you guys all know that. I'm looking forward to increasing our programming and services and increasing our reach and just being healthy, happy, and wise in 2023. And I just don't really have a favorite winter activity because it's not my season. But I do like watching the snowfall and sipping tea from inside. Snow is just not my thing. That's all. Next slide. So in September, the Getting There travel training doubled the number of participants required for the current grant. And I think we're something like 975 when we finally turned it in, right, Latoya? It was like
950. Oh yeah, it was 975. You're right.
That's amazing. And we attended 2 different resource fairs in Thornton. The DRMAC outreach team kicked off our membership campaign, and we doubled our membership from the previous year. In October, we launched the new, that's in there again. Oh, that's that one. DRMAC decided that we would revamp our trainings to include even more options. And Stephanie's been doing a really good job with getting that curriculum together. Next slide, please. I guess I thought I had a December, but I will just turn it over to Diana. At this point, Diana.
Hi, everyone. My name is Diana Castro, and I am the Operations and Outreach Coordinator. I started off the year with DRMAC as being the administrative assistant. My favorite project working this year was attending in-person events. Lauren and I work really great together, and prepping for events and, you know, thinking about everything that you have to get together and packing it in your car and moving it out, you know, and then meeting the people and hearing stories. That was great. I think everybody shares, you know, post-pandemic, how nice it is to be able to just talk to people one-on-one. And then my favorite thing about Dr. Mac, we really did not see each other's responses, but our team really is great. I mean, even being remote, the fact that we can connect with each other through a computer screen, you know, is really impressive. The support that we give each other, and the fact that, hey, you know, I have something going on. Oh, yeah, no worries. I'll pick it right up for you. That is, you know, impressive. Again, post-pandemic, you realize the importance of human connections, and, you know, our Dr. Mac team is definitely about that, about human connections with each other and with the community that we serve. And, you know, that's what could be greater than that. In 2023, I am looking forward to Dr. Mac services becoming available in Spanish. That's more to come. And then my favorite activity. So my favorite winter activity is making gingerbread houses with my siblings and my kids. We have a competition about who makes the best one. And then whoever wins, all the sore losers start picking their gingerbread houses apart for the rest of the month of December until the winning house ends up looking like the worst house, because everybody ate the candy. So that's what happens at our house. In the month of November, Dr. Mac presented the Project Independence Transition training hosted by Show and Tell. We completed new curriculum for the Getting There travel training with an expected launch for 2023. That's part of that stuff to come in Spanish here in the future. We did our first bilingual extra dose that went out to everybody that's registered for our newsletter. If you're not, please go to our website and you'll be seeing that. Oh, sorry, just a second. Excuse me. Latoya began her role as volunteer program manager, and we kicked off our Colorado Gives Day campaign that Lauren has been doing online. If you have not had a chance to do Colorado Gives, please give to our many wonderful organizations in Colorado and Dr. Mac. And then in the 12th month of December of Dr. Mac, the Getting There travel training wrapped up the current grant with an astonishing number of 176 classes and 955 participants trained. Latoya is an amazing teacher. If you ever see her in action, she's very involved, very committed, and always, if you have a question, she follows up with you and, you know, does everything possible to help people. So definitely amazing. Our information and assistance line had a total of 460 calls throughout the year. Our Colorado Gives Day campaign is also wrapping up, and we are planning for more programs in 2023.
What a wild year. I am in absolute awe of everything that we've accomplished in 2022, and I just cannot wait to see what 2023 will hold. But now it is time for some fun. So I'm going to hand the meeting off over to Latoya to get some transportation bingo going.
Thank you, Steph. And I couldn't agree more with you. Now it's time to have some fun with the game called Transportation Dr. Mac Bingo, you guys. Okay. So the goal of this game is really to see how much knowledge you have about the transportation world. So as you know it is a challenge for folks to have the right resources for transportation options, right? And many of us work firsthand with these folks. So with that being said, the challenge today is to see how many transportation options or providers you know fit this information in the boxes. How it goes is the middle box is always the free mark, or in our case, the free parking space. So that leaves 8 boxes that need to be filled in. I will give us a few minutes to look over and write down your answers. Once you have your answers, please raise your hand on the Zoom screen and we will call on you. If you have all the boxes filled out correctly, you will win a prize. We do have a few choices of prizes, but I will not tell you what it is until I reach out to you via email. Now, remember, some answers may be different than what we have, and that's okay. That just means that probably there's a new transportation option or provider that we weren't aware of. And as we know, transportation is always changing and options are always changing as well. So this is a really good space for us to gain some knowledge of some options out there, as well as refresh some information that we have may forgotten. Does anyone have any questions about how this game goes?
I hope you're going to bring up that screen again.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming. I got to do the countdown, Andrea. I've got to do the countdown. All right. Any other questions? We good?
Do we just write down our answers or write
So
down?
yes, you're just going to write down the answers, and when you raise your hand or even know them, and when you raise your hand, I'm going to then call on the first person that raises their hand, and then we're going to have somebody track who comes next and following that. And then if you aren't correct the first person, then we go to the second person that raised the hand and so on and so forth. So I'll give you guys some time to do this. Like I said, the first person that raised their hands, I'm going to start working from there. All right, so I'm going to do the countdown, 1, 2, 3, go, and we're going to change the page and you guys will have the time. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Wow, Andrea is already done. Okay, my goodness, that was 5 seconds.
Well, I wasn't supposed to raise, I thought we were going one at a time. Okay, never mind.
Oh, okay, you got to know all 8 boxes. You got to fill them all in. You got to know them. Diana, can we play some music in the background while we're waiting for someone to raise their hand? It's a challenge. I'm excited. Brains are working. I'll give it about 1 or 2 more minutes. And then if nothing, we'll just see how many people have gotten. So we'll give about 2 minutes. Come on, brains, work out there. All right, 1 more minute. All right. So let's just take a pause. How many of you, there's a total of 8 that need to be filled in. How many of you have at least 7? Raise your hand. How about, oh, Olga. Oh, wow. Okay, Olga. Would you like to share?
They're probably wrong.
That's
but
all right.
I think the first one on the left, I put RTD. I don't know. The second one in the middle, I mentioned Dr. Cog. I didn't get the third one across the top. I don't know that one. But then going down on the left side, should I just keep going or allow
Yes.
others to chime in?
Nope, keep going.
Were any of those right?
So far you got 2 right.
Okay, so the one under RTD is Mustang. Is that right?
Yeah.
And then the free space provides transportation on the weekends. That would be Dr. Cog again. The one on the left corner, bottom, would be Atlantis Community. One in the middle, Dr. Cog, and then the far right, Dr. Mac.
Good job. How about that? That was exciting. Good job, Olga.
I don't know if they're right.
Yes, that was really good. Do we have any others that she didn't name that you would like to share that maybe even knew that we don't know about in some of those spaces? Feel free to unmic yourself. Andrea?
What did I write? Doesn't VIA provide transportation in 8 counties?
They do. Correct. VIA does as well. Now, there's going to be multiple ones for these boxes, so that, which is really nice, right? And we're really fortunate enough to have those. You know, in our first box, provides transportation to older adults. We have a list, right? We have.
Oh yeah, that's VIA too.
Right, right. Allison, or did you have any more that you wanted to share, Andrea?
Transportation to the mountains would be the Pegasus bus, which I believe is CDOT.
Yes, it's part of the bus staying crew as well as the snow staying. So yes, correct. Any other?
So I actually have a question. What is reverse services?
Good question, Allison. So reverse services is something where, let's just say I'm an older adult and I'm at home and I can't get out, I'm sick or something like that. Or I just can't get out and go to the grocery store or things like that. What happens is somebody or a provider can go to the grocery store, pick up my groceries, pick up my medicine and bring it to my home. So that's reverse services. Instead of somebody picking me up to take me to go to the store or to get my medicine from the pharmacy, they can do that and send it back to us. Now, GoGo Grandparents is one of those that do provide that. So for that third option, GoGo Grandparents is a great one that does that. Look them up. If you know anybody that needs some reverse services, you know, food brought to them that they order, whether it's from Walmart, King Supers, whatever, a grocery store they already pre-order, they can pick it up, bring them, including medicine. So that's a really nice option there. Thanks, Alice.
Thank you.
And I think Arapahoe County does that too with their older adult services.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Any others? Okay. Now the very bottom left, that was RTD. They do have 100% accessible vehicles, which is really nice as well, right? All right. So Olga, will you please in the chat send me your email, or I will get that from our group later and I will be in touch with you for that prize. Okay.
Wow. I never win anything. Thank you so much.
Well, that's what happens when you know what you know, right? All right. Well, there is really nothing like a good game of bingo. So before we wrap up the day, we want to give you all 2 to 3 minutes to tell us about your highlights of 2022 and what your organization is looking forward to in our 2023. So please unmute yourself, use your raise your hand function, or just type your answer in the chat, and we'll go ahead and kind of read them out. Now, Olga, you got your hand still raised. I don't know how to unraise your hand.
You can also provide any general updates that you have for your organization, if you prefer.
There's no highlights or updates. Something had to happen exciting for your guys' orgs for this year. I want to hear some stuff. Any numbers you hit, any goals? I mean, any new stuff that's happening?
I can go first.
All right, Jessica, thanks.
So with Mobility for All, we are very excited to be hiring new people soon. So we're gonna have 2 outreach specialists, which is gonna help us a lot to engage with the public and also make our engagement strategies more effective. We also really want to start working on making our workshops and education technology materials friendly for low vision and blind people who are not really accounted for in our current educational program, but we're excited to work with them and learn from them. There's also changes coming into the MAC too, so that's exciting. We want to grow that coalition. And what else? Yeah, and we also want to improve our social media campaigns. So I was very excited to hear about yours and how you've grown with your Instagram and webpage, which I think is very important too. So yeah, those are the updates for Mobility for All, I guess.
Thank you, Jessica. We appreciate that. I'll go ahead and go to Joan.
Well, I can say my personal highlight was being hired as the ADA coordinator. That happened at the end of September, so that was really fun. One of the really cool things I thought we were able to do this year was we had some ARPA dollars that we were able to do $200 food insecurity Walmart cards to like quite a few hundred people. And so they had to be living within the city-owned housing and meet income, low income. But it was really, all of us kind of partook in that and handing them out. So being able to talk to individuals and be part of the community was really a big thing. I missed by like a week that we had a pretty key spot with the ABS parade, and they kind of highlighted us afterwards for the accessibility. So that got to touch, apparently it was like, I missed it by a week, got to touch the big trophy thing that they got for the avalanches got. So that was a pretty cool thing. And we, in March of 2022, they hired Allison Butler, who is our current director. So there's going to be a lot of great things happening in 2023. We're also using some of the ARPA dollars to do an RFP to some local Denver nonprofits. So that's going to be coming out soon, and people will be able to apply for that up to $50,000 for nonprofits. So that's a pretty big chunk of change. And we're going to be doing some training videos and doing more training. So we've got a lot going on, and we're pretty excited about what's happening.
Wow, Joan, that's amazing. And isn't it really cool to be able to like do hands-on with your community and just really see that impact that you make? I think that's what really feeds the soul sometimes, right?
Yeah, it did. It was really great.
Thank you so much. Yeah, amazing. Thank you and welcome. All right, Bob, you're up next. What you got for us?
Thanks. Well, Dr. Mack has already highlighted what they were looking for in 2023, so I won't go into that. As far as the Colorado Center for Aging, number one, we're in a process of trying to get familiar with the new legislators in the state and what their feelings are regarding services for seniors, etc. And one thing that we are, few of the things that we're going after. One is to bring back some of the bills that were passed up in the last couple of sessions. One would be another emergency medical transportation for seniors, also reimbursement for dialysis treatment. That was passed over because of they couldn't, some of the organizations that were responsible for tracking the reimbursements, etc., couldn't agree. So that was pushed back. So we hope to get that up in the next session, so there can be reimbursement for dialysis transportation, other than I think it's I believe it's Medicaid, but they're RTD and CDAT trying to get together on that. Also, other enhancements for seniors in the various nursing facilities and cetera, to more precautions regarding outbreaks, etc., that we've just gone through and still going through. So it's a steady climb up, and number one, the Homestead Act, and to make sure that there's no reductions and changes, etc., that that's still a viable program for seniors, etc. So keep you posted of what's going on, and of course, senior transportation. There was, or there is, $120 million that has been allocated for senior programs. It's in the governor's budget. How that's going to be allocated, we don't know. But as of today, none of that money is allocated towards transportation or any transportation services, as is written. Now there are other programs for transportation, but none of that 120 million right now. So we're looking into that also. So that's about it right now. We'll see what happens as time goes on.
Wow.
January 8th is coming.
Sure is. Thank you so much for your update, Bob. We really appreciate all that great feedback on that. All right, Angela, you're up next.
The highlight was getting a commitment from CDOT for our Mustang Outrider on I-70 from Lyman into the Peoria station. Of course, that can always change. That's the state government. But so far, they've made a commitment. Looking forward is actually getting buses for the Mustang Outrider, because that process has been really, really difficult. And then hopefully TSAC having a town hall in the new year. That's about it for me.
That would be exciting. Yeah, town hall. All right, we have Jamie up. Jamie?
Thanks. I had a lot of fun last year with a little program that we called Urban Discoveries. Through CALC funds, we were able to take 8 individuals, people with disabilities that had been kind of locked down because of COVID, and kind of reintroduced them to transit and took them somewhere like a park or a location, and then treated them out for lunch. And it was really fun to see, people getting back in the mode, Looking forward to the RTD new fare structure. It's kind of like they've kind of decided on 2 options. CCDC will be weighing in on that. So hopefully if we come up with a recommendation that maybe we can get DRMAC to just support that and other agencies. So that should be coming out in a few weeks. Also looking forward to all the dollars that are coming down the pike. I think you're going to see a lot of improvement as far as electrical charging stations throughout the state. And I think that's going to encourage people to want to purchase an electric vehicle. Right now, I think there's almost $12,000 worth of incentives to purchase a new or used. I think the used is a little less, but to purchase a new vehicle. So that's exciting. We're doing a little research on resiliency. And what that means is that electrical vehicles are actually an asset. So if a city, municipality, or county purchases electric heavy duty vehicles, that those vehicles be put on an emergency manager's planning board. So if we do have an emergencies, those trucks, usually the larger ones, could be used to charge like a nursing station or an assisted living home during electrical outages. People don't realize the larger vehicles can power up a whole building for about 4 hours. So we've seen a few states do that, including Illinois. So we might be presenting a bill this year asking the state legislatures to mandate that if a government agency purchases an electric vehicle, that be put on an emergency manager's list. So that's what I got. Look forward to it. You know, it's always changes, and just want to say good work, Dr. Mack. You guys did a great job this year. Thank you.
No,
Thank you, Jamie.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Wow, 12,000 for an incentive for an electric vehicle. That's impressive. So do we have any more updates or feedbacks or anything like that before I pass it on to Colleen?
It looks like there's an update in the chat, Latoya. Joseph Parks said that he was going to another meeting, but the 2022 highlight for CASTA, there is a new grant program to provide funding to agencies through the Ozone Season Transit Grant Program, and 2023 expansion of their defensive driving training into more states throughout the country.
Wow, lots of stuff happening and coming up. Super excited about that. All right, well, no more further goes. Here goes Colleen. Thank you so much for your guys' time.
Yes, thank you. Those are a lot of good updates. Thank you, Latoya. But before we wrap up this meeting, I just want to remind you all that today is Colorado Gives Day. And I also want to give a big thank you to everyone who has made a tax-deductible donation to Dr. Mack. Some of you are in this meeting and we appreciate it. It's heartfelt. I also want to thank you all for being here today and for your ongoing support throughout this incredible year. We wouldn't be able to do what we do without your support. So again, thank you. That's all we have for you today. So we're going to wrap up the meeting. We hope to see you all next month at our first educational meeting of the year on January 10th. Thank you, and we wish you all a happy holiday season.